and we would like to welcome y'all
What up, baby?
to the Delete That podcast.
Uh, uh,
Coming from a place far, far away.
uh.
And
We back
and
at
the
it.
rain near you.
We back at it. You hear me? Yeah. We back at it. We back at it. Y'all better be ready for the day, baby. It's your boy Doing P. We coming back at it. Coming back at it. Say we coming back at it. Delete That podcast, baby. What's up, P? What's up with it?
What up, dude?
What's happening, man?
Man, you want to say, is it Happy Martin Luther King Day? Is
Hey,
that how you
man, it is definitely Happy Dr. Martin Luther King Day.
Day?
Let's talk about that for a second. Let's reflect, man. Let's reflect off of that, P.
Well, I can say this. If it wasn't for him doing what he did on this good old place we call Earth,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be doing what we're doing right now. That's all I can say.
Hey, man.
You know,
That's deep. Hey, he stood and he represented some things for our culture, man, and for our people, and what he stood for as an individual, man, as in fighting for peace, right?
yeah,
And today we still fight for peace. We still fight for identity when we know our identity, but the world seemed to, in a metaphor of just saying that, the world seems to downplay that identity, treat it as if it's still non-human, but we are. So we know we are, and like now, I think with the stuff that we still see that's unjust, and we still fight for equality even to this day. So, you know, there's so many people that then went through it and then had, stuff happen in their lives that no matter what, people can never be replaced again, right? Losing someone, you can't replace that, right? I know what that feel like. I lost a child, and it's coming up on a anniversary of his anniversary of his death, but it's passing, man. And you can have another kid, but it don't replace that loss, right? So he fought and he stood for some things, and he lost his life over his belief in
hmm
equality, and yet we still lose our lives daily over equality in some situations. Some situations we make bad choices, but but this day is a special day, man, and they honor it now for his legacy of what he stood for. You know what I mean? And we see now that, like, we're off today. Like, I'm off, but I'm working. You know what I mean? So it's an honorable day, man, and it should be, man, because he was assassinated for fighting for peace, not for creating chaos. And
hmm
no one should lose their life when you're trying to bring people together and not separate, not, destroy. He was a builder, you know. So shout out, man, to the King family. Today is a special day for them as they honor their legacy, their dad, the passing, the martyr, the leader, man, that he was called to be. So there's somewhere in the small book they say many are called, few are chosen. Man, he was a chosen one, man. We appreciate you, man. Love you, Dr. King. Yeah,
Salute, salute.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'll drink to that. You already know. And I don't want the viewers to think that we alcoholics.
No,
We're
I
not.
no.
We only drink during the podcast. At least I do.
Yes. And
Normally, I'm drinking water.
yeah, and I'm drinking a Coke. So
You'll drink Coke. She drink Coke, so cold drinks.
Cold drink. You understand me?
She drink
Let
cold
me say
drink.
it the
No,
right
no,
way,
yeah, yeah,
cold
yeah, cold
drink.
drinks.
But yeah, man. So a lot of stuff, man, that been done and said, man. Over the years, P. As we get deep into this day, man, we got to get on some stuff that's going on today, man. Yes, yes, yes. Today's thriller, man, in the college jungle. Ohio State Buckeyes, man, versus the Fighting Irish, Notre Dame, P. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, man, it's about to be a battle. Man. And shout out to
Ooh,
my boy Ransom.
man.
Man. Like I said, Ohio State. I'm a rock with Ohio State.
Ooh, you
Um,
that's your bold pick?
that's gonna be. Hey, I'm gonna go with Ohio State. Reason
Man,
being,
talk to me. Talk to
I
me.
had a couple of kids. I cut at the Nike opening one year. Shout out to
Okay,
Michael Fletcher. You know what I'm saying?
okay, okay,
Oregon Duck alumni. So Flea hooked me up with the Nike opening, and I
okay,
cut at the dollar store out there, man. So I had a lot of those kids that came into the city, and got a chance to meet a lot of them young men. And Courtney Williams was one of them, and
okay.
Ransom was one of them, and a few names I forget, but they made it to that level. They've been playing real hard, man. So I can't help but represent and support them dudes. They got a killer defense, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
you know me, I played defense in high school. Shout out to Bellflower High School, Paramount High School, and I'm gonna say this: I truly believe defense wins games. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna support them guys
yes,
and say, you
yes.
know, I'm gonna put my if I had to place money on it, I put my money on the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Man, P, listen. That's a bold prediction. I mean, I respect how you came out with it. I mean, you ain't cut no corners. You got straight to the point, and you
Straight to
called it like, yeah, yeah, you got straight there, and you called it like you saw it, right? And I guess you could look at the history of how things went inside the playoffs thus far with these teams, and saying why a person would choose a Ohio right now, right? So we get that, man. Ohio had some big wins throughout their playoff run this season, right? Starting off with Tennessee, man. They beat Tennessee 42-17. So that wasn't a close one. That was like, let me let you know, we came here to play ball, right? And then when they got to the next round, they played hard. You know what I mean? So shout out to that, right? Oregon Ducks showed up, man, but they beat them 41-21. So the consistent number here is the 42 to 41. Like that ain't by luck. That's who we are. You know what I mean? And with a running back like they got, you know what I mean? That they with Ohio with Justin, man, you got to be ready for that, right? On top of you saying that when they get all the way that they did all this work and they did put all this work in, P, you say they come against a goddamn uh team that we thought was resilient enough in Oregon that could put a stop to them, right? But that didn't happen, P. And then they come back against a tough Texas team. Whoa.
yeah, that was crazy.
Where it's crazy because we still got some Texas talk to talk about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So they come against a crazy Texas team that was tough, man. That was the 5 seed that we thought that was really gonna give them okay, this is where we really find out if Ohio, this is the game here. This is the game we figured it to be, but they wound up pulling it off 28-14. So which was a close game. And they won it right late. It was a close one. But they still showed that offense is strong, man, as well as their defense, because they consistently then held teams. The highest one to score more points was Oregon with 21 points against them this whole playoff run.
Hmm.
So then they got that back checked and said, hold on, 21 was too much. And we're gonna hold Texas to 14. So now you get to this. big thriller in the college jungle, and you about to see right now it's macho against macho, right? Because now you going against this Notre Dame team that has been playing good ball also, right? They
Mhm.
was they wasn't considered to be there. They were, you know what I mean?
True,
So
true.
I mean, Pete, with their run, their first game, it was 27-17, right?
Hmm.
And that was against Indiana. Then they moved on to Penn State and come back and beat. Shockingly, they get to when they get to Penn State, but before Penn State, they play UGA. That we really thought Georgia was going to really win that game.
Yeah, I
I
did.
Georgia was the number 2 seed coming in. So Notre Dame came in beating some big heads, right? They when they beat Georgia, it was like, hold up, what just happened? They got this new coach over. What just happened? Notre Dame, Georgia,
And shout out to the coach over there, man, Marcus Freeman. Like
yeah.
he doing his thing, man. Especially being a black coach in anything coaching nowadays. We know how they doing black coaches now, man. And for him to come over into Notre Dame and make it happen over there, you know what I'm saying? Salute to him, man. You know what I mean? He rallied them young men, let them beat that adversity they was facing a little bit, you know, throughout the middle of the season. So I do want to give him his props, man.
Because it was a big win against Notre Dame. I mean, against Georgia.
Yeah,
That was 23-10, man. They held Georgia to 10 points.
it's crazy.
Defense is what we started off with, what you said in the beginning. Defense win championship, right? But you got to remember, they playing defense over here too, Pete, right? So they play a Penn State and win 27-14. I mean 27-24. So you have two teams that's coming in playing good defense. This gonna come down to right now. I feel I'm really like I damn near won't roll with them Buckeyes. I'm leaning more towards the Buckeyes, but bruh, they're like Washington to me, the Commanders.
Ooh,
They're a
ooh.
scary team, man, because they're playing with a different chip on their shoulder, right? And offensively, they haven't been putting up big numbers like Ohio, and that's why I'm more on the Ohio side because of Ohio journey through the teams they played, and they still managed to put up 28 when Notre Dame through their whole ride this season through the playoff. Pete, they haven't put up 28, so I'm on your side with this one, Pete. Now we could be wrong. Normally, you know what I mean. I would go with you. I'm gonna take the Buckeyes, and that's my
Okay.
reason. You know what I mean? But I, I
Welcome to this side of the street, though. As you can
hey man,
see, I'm wearing champions. You know, I know
hey,
about a little
here
bit of
we go.
championship.
Here we go. Here
So,
we
so I thought I would mention that.
go.
Fix my bow
Can't
tie.
have one little good show without the bullshit coming in. You know what I mean? About this little funky team of his, y'all. You know what I mean? I'm a Saints fan, as y'all can obviously see. Don't care nothing about KC. Okay, yeah, where they at. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? And one of the best tight ends in the game right now, Kelsey. You know what I mean? What y'all doing and how
Shout
y'all
out to Gray.
so
He, he, he,
shout
he,
out to
he,
the
he's
coach too.
he's backup. He's the backup tight end. Shout out to Gray. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but we won't give Andy Reid his just due. That people doubted you in Philly and you went there and you became multiple champions, man. You deserve it after everything you've been through. Shout out to him too, man. But that's the thriller in Manila, man. What we spoke about these Buckeyes, man. Like I said, we're leaning more towards Ohio State more than
Okay, and then you know where I'm located at right now, bro. So I'm in the great state of Texas, and listening to something in the news today about Texas.
say, man, this shit is crazy. Steve Curse extension Texas, Longhorn.
So what do you think about it?
P. Supposedly he didn't turn down 2 NFL teams, right? And
Mm-hmm.
this is what was in the news out there. This is what we hearing. This is just in the air, right? But P, what I'm like even feeling like that, which is a good thing. I salute that, P. You know what I mean? And on the NFL, like you turned down 2 NFL jobs. Was it out of fear that you didn't think that you could control those guys the way you could control young kids that's trying to get there and
Mm-hmm.
make the same type of money? Well, you'll make a little more as an NFL coach, head coach, right? Of course. But I think when a person can become content within themselves and say, I am making what I'm making here, I don't really need to go to the NFL and then I got to deal with egos because they got money in their pockets and you know what I mean? Will they follow? Will they believe the way a kid would believe in college? Because the kid
Yeah.
in college is trying to get the opportunity to go there. So he's still being coachable, right? And this guy is saying, I don't need that extra stress. I love where I'm at. I love my home. I love, you know what I mean, the environment. People love me. Let's see how long I can win here, right? He might want to establish a legacy. Now, with him doing that, P, it only it brings awareness, and I hate to keep circling back around, but it brings awareness over there to a Dion, right, and a college coach, you know, in Colorado. Like, what do you do now in this situation? And you had some information on that, right, P?
Well, I'm hearing here. Um, Dion doesn't want to go to the next level without keep bringing his son along. Both
Right,
of his sons, not just one, but both. And what he was saying was, um, Shador has a little bit more easier route. He's always had an easier route. I don't know if it was his position in his football, the highlight that they put behind the quarterback position. But he said Shiloh has always had a harder time, a harder route. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So by him being a dad, I really kind of understand that he doesn't want to no man behind. He doesn't want to help catapult one son to a level and not bring the other son along with him. So he was saying that he might just stay in Colorado. He likes where he's at. He enjoys walking out, the back door and looking right into the stadium. He has a view of the stadium, and he was saying that he doesn't want to leave when his neither one of his sons behind if he can't help both of them. So I kind of understand that, and I don't see a name like the Sanders son wanting to drop down in a draft pick just to you know hopefully try to get his son, his other brother, and his dad all on the same team. I think he would have to kind of drop far down in the draft, especially being one of the top rated players in the draft between Hunter, Cam Ward, and Shador himself. You know what I mean? So um, I think that me personally, I think that Dion is going to stay in Colorado. Less stress, and like you said, you don't want to deal with the egos. You don't want to deal with, especially if he's going to go to Cowgirls. Excuse me.
damn, man, put some respect on them people name.
Man, I'm out here with it. It's flooded, but like, yeah, that part. Uh, whatever Dude said. But I don't think you're gonna want to have that type of problem, man. Or excuse me, not problem, but you don't want to have that type of responsibility with your
But what
general
about the
manager
Raiders though? What
all
about
in your videos.
Come on, man. No baby. I mean, delete that, P. Stop it. Huh?
Okay.
Hey, man. Boy, you is cold. Come, you don't want nobody in your video like,
Nuh-uh.
no.
Nobody in there talking about take that, take that.
Hey, ooh, delete
I don't
that. Oh, I.
believe that. Yeah.
Hey,
Believe that, man.
hey, bro. Hey, I, I don't know, P. I think that the Raiders are in that conversation, and that's a possibility that he could get what he want there, right? You're bringing this franchise quarterback. You've been great to win with. Y'all have that's understanding. You can control him. That ego won't get bigger than that voice.
Right.
And
Is this going with his dad or without his dad?
with, of
With.
course.
I would say I'm hearing the writers wanted to pull in somebody else. Now, I had a little inside information
Right,
during the season.
right,
Shador wanted to come to the writers. He, had a conversation here and there, with a few people, and I think that was on his spotlight at first. Yeah, that was in. But since Brady has taken over, and Brady has made a comment during the playoff games. I think it was, disrespecting the old coach or a shot at the old coach that they had just released, and I really think that he has somebody in mind because the comment he made was something like, we just need more than the accolades on the field.
right.
And we need someone with coaching experience and this and that. So I think he took a shot at somebody I know. And, I kind of took offense to it. But
You should, as you should, as you should.
I don't really don't think that he's going to rock with Dion there. Even though if he has, Shador has a relationship with the coach. I mean, with part of the owner, that has 5% take in there. That guy that we know has a couple of rings. But I really don't think that for in order. I think they dropped down to what, sixth round, sixth pick, and it goes back to your name. You are prime surrounded by your name. I really don't think that this guy is going to want to drop in the draft just to come up into an organization to get dad and all that to that. Their legacy, their what they built so far, and it means something to these guys to go high in the draft. That means more money at the end of the day.
Right, right. Well, I can tell you this, P. They got some interesting, I would say, picks that's coming up in the draft for the Raiders. I think it's the best location for something like that to possibly happen at, right? That's all they have now. That could happen in Dallas as well, right? So, and we know that yes, Deion was once a player for the Dallas Cowboys,
Mhm.
right? Jerry Jones, I think, would understand to you would have to play a lesser role if you want Dion and his son to come through. You know what I mean? And I think the respect and trust would be there for him to do so because now you saying your truly own has come back and you have a replacement and a quarterback that people have stopped believing in, right? There's injuries, is same story, the ending. So
Yeah. So you're talking about peg leg that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, and then
And
Grandpa Jones is
yeah,
supposed to step down a little bit. Papa Jones is supposed to step down and
yeah.
relinquished his power. And when he said, I got this job, and when I bought the Cowboys back in the day, I bought them for a reason. I am employed myself to the Dallas Cowboys, and I don't think that I'm going to leave. You really think he going to get us up, dude? Yeah,
P,
go ahead.
something gotta shake or his sales going to go down. It's not a
Well,
smart business decision unless he bring in someone
yeah.
that players will respect. And that's the thing. You have to have a coach that players respect as a coach, not as like Dion or in presence, like I think will get guys to follow, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not telling you Antonio Pierce for the Raiders didn't have that, right? He had that. He just didn't have the weapons. So you would have to get the weapons to say, well, okay, well, now when we talk about weapons, we forgetting about one valuable piece to this conversation that could come into the league and be electrifying and do some things sort of like a Tyreek Hill, right? Which is
Mhm.
Travis Hunter. So we can't forget about the ultimate resource of pick and saying where he's subject to land at, right? So that's a big piece that's key too, P.
Okay, so if you have your general manager doesn't want to give you the authority, he doesn't want to share camera time. AP Antonio tried to trade up for Jaden Daniels, and the organization didn't let him.
Right,
So by Dion coming over here, you got to think he's gonna have to share camera time with Jerry Jones, and on top of that, 103,000, I mean 103 million in cap space that he is going to be just floating around, right?
right,
And then you got to send Dak somewhere, find a home for him. They was mentioning already bringing in Keller Moore. That seems like more like the puppet on the string to me. That seems like the fit. But you got Keller Moore. He is over in Philadelphia right now, so it's like we don't know what Papa Jones is gonna do because he always waits. You already know he waits for the deadline, bro. And
right.
we don't know what he's gonna do. He might wait until the first day of training camp to announce his coach. We don't know. I don't think Dion, even though he's in Dallas, his kids are from Dallas. I think that is not enough camera time between the two guys for them to negotiate that deal. You can bring in a person like Travis Hunter, or you can bring in Tyreek or somebody that's there. I still think that they still have to pay Michael Parsons. He still got to get his bread, you know. And like, it's gonna be a lot of moving parts for Dallas. So ticket sales, everybody says he's a genius. He's a marketing genius. He's a genius for that and that. But I think by him having the largest fan base in America, that he's not truly affected by whatever moves he makes. That's just my opinion on that.
Well, like I said, I think Dion will most likely land with the Cowboys. But with that being said, Steve, Secursion, Sakishian, I messed up a brother name. With that being said, man, shout out to you, man, for standing your ground and accepting your extension, man. Hopefully,
2031. It's
right?
a long time.
Maybe he feel like his job wasn't done. He want that ultimate goal to win that natty,
Shit.
to
Yeah.
be at the end, and that means something to some guys. Like my job here ain't done, and I could sympathize with that because I have been myself in previous situations like that. So you know, with that being said, like, that's a shout out, man. That's a big shout out, man. Shout out to you, Steve. We appreciate coaches, man. Coaches are great, man, for kids to teach them and groom them to be great men on and off the field. A lot of people just make it about on the field. Politics, nah, man, it got a lot to do with off the field too, Pete. Like, who are you when nobody's watching? Who are you? You know what I mean? And hiding. Who are you? Right? And when
Hmm.
you know that person consistently show up every day. Every day, man. That person consistently shows up, man. So, that's just big to me, man, when you knowing who you are and what you represent, man. So shout out, man. Continue to do what you do with these kids. You know what I mean? Continue to build. Continue to build. Uplift. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I guess we go on to the next subject, man. Get into the real nitty gritty of things. We can cover sports, and we're gonna get into something that's been a topic basically back and forth. Um, what are the keys to a successful relationship and a successful life?
Hey, man.
I see a
Hey.
lot of people online going back and forth. It's the man's problem. It's the woman's problem. It's the man's problem. It's the women's problem, right? I honestly think it can come from both parties. You know what I mean? And we need to stop blaming both sides
Right,
and figure out what's needed to make this thing successful.
right.
What do you think, though?
So here's the deal, P. I think a lot of times people put so much pressure on their relationships, right? You're gonna have your natural ups and downs, man. And it's about the partner you building that with, right? You're building a home, or you're building your foundation has to be solid, right? Meaning that we both came in with the same principle, right? We are equally yoked. We understand what we're trying, what we want to. When you have a family, when you start to say, I want to start a family, meaning I want to have a child. We want to have a child. At that time, there's a foundation that has to be there, right? Because you want to make sure that if I have a child, I can take care of a child. I can provide. I could be there at the time. I understand what's at stake, what I must sacrifice. And when you come into a relationship with that type of mindset, first my foundation, right? Then the security around that foundation. And then the understanding on what the future to maintain that foundation is, right? And when you do all three of these things together and understand that, then you start to plan out that future step by step. So go ahead.
Okay, the key to use that you use right there is steps to that, right?
Right.
I think a large percentage of us, or I ain't gonna say backed or forced into a situation, but we dress up on Friday night, we
Right.
go out, we meet somebody, we have a few drinks, we have a good time, we party, we ended up getting to the house. Something goes down to where there's an interaction between two adults. Oops, we didn't have a kid, right?
Hold on, Pete. Because as you can see, I'm in my robe today. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want
you're smoking coke.
and yeah. And the reason why I was feeling real gentlemanship, like, that's a word I made up. You know what I mean? Gentlemanship. Like, yeah, don't ask me how to spell it. You know what I
I
mean?
won't.
Don't spell it. Only say it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
mess it up, no matter how you say it. You understand? But just wanted to say, I was just feeling like this today, Pete. But go ahead, Pete. I mean, that happens, right? We know the mistakes that we call mistakes, and when in real reality, it's not a mistake, right? There's nothing. There's some things that happen that we made a mistake. We would say, did we make a mistake, or did we forget to turn the stove off?
I was well. Both of them are mistakes. You can forget to turn the stove off and burn the house down and run up your bill.
Right, right. What I'm
So
saying is,
what are you saying?
wh-
What are you saying?
what is it classified
As
as
a
a
mistake?
mistake, or did you forget?
I
Now
forget.
they need to figure out, why did you forget to do something so important? What's going on in the head? Was I in a rush? What was the cause and effect, right? So
Wait,
that's
hold
why.
on. Before you move forward, what part of this you saying we forgot? Explain it to the people.
Well,
What did we
what
forget?
I am saying is, when we say that mistake that we made by sleeping with someone
Hmm.
while we was intoxicated, we was drinking and blah blah blah. No.
Hmm.
What led up to the point of you even getting to the room? It wasn't the drinks. There was a chemistry that was established way before that. That you saw in that person, that person saw in you, that is something about each other that we need to make happen. So we cleaned together all night, drank, and I looked at you, and then the more I looked at you and the more she looked at me, the more things went to tingling in our head, and we ended up in the room. That was not a mistake.
Well, dude, you heard
That
what they said.
that
The more I drink, the prettier she looked.
yes. So that was never a mistake. That was already an intent there,
uh,
because the prettier she looked. So I had been looking at her when she wasn't pretty until she became pretty. So something in my mind had already identified with, hey man, I'm feeling her. She could
maybe,
she could get
maybe, maybe it was the lashes.
Oh, the last. Aha, aha.
Maybe
So,
it was the
see,
lashes. I
so,
don't know.
again, that's why I say, uh, even with last segment, when we
Uh,
talked about that, like at the time of what you see, your perception, and you got to understand where you can be at. You don't know what's fake and what's
it
not.
was not. And
Right.
the lights in the club a little dark, a little dim. You know what I'm saying?
And when listen, when they teach you, man, when you get the drinking and you getting intoxicated under the influence of things, the first thing to go is judgment. So
And your vision,
right, I can't judge if it's fake
impairment.
or real. You look real to me, right? So that in itself, man, right there, man. Shout out to the viewers, man. I'm sorry about that, man. Shout out to y'all, man, that's watching and staying in tune, man. We see y'all out there. Don't think we don't. My bad. We just got so caught up into talk about this here bad. But you know, P, it is what it is, you know. So I think that when we look at it like that, it's P,
Mhm.
it ain't a mistake. That's all I can say. It
I'm,
ain't a
I'm,
mistake.
I'm gonna say this, man. Like we like to blame both parties, the male and the females. I have people from I respect, and they say where you meet them at, it could be a big problem too. So if you meeting them at the clubs, you're gonna get club results. If you're meeting them at church, you get church results. You meet them at the Whole Foods or Sprouts, you might get different results. You know what I mean?
Right,
So we need to stop blaming each side. You know what I mean? You make some bad decisions, some bad choices.
right,
The man might make bad decisions, bad choices. Did I make
right,
some bad decisions and choices in my life? Was I thinking with the right body part? Sometimes I made it, you know what I mean, looking for the big ugly smile. And
true,
it could have, it really could have made some worse decisions if, things didn't go turn out the way they were supposed to turn out. But we need to start blaming both sides, and we need to
right,
start being
right,
more calculated in who we do bring home, who we do give this information and this
right,
time to. You know what I mean? And
right,
this is probably some things you don't learn until you're a lot older in life. And because right now in my situation, I'm taking time to evaluate people around me,
right,
make better decisions and choices as an adult. And a lot of the people I met, when I was younger and had situations, I let them know, like, at that point when I was younger in my 20s, yeah, I'm thinking like, oh yeah, I'm a grown man, only because the number that came associated with it classified me as an adult in the United States.
right, right,
And I spoke to an old friend today, and she was like, you did me wrong. You was messing with my next door neighbor. I seen the car parked outside. She was a stripper and all this stuff. And I was, I'm like in my heart, I'm like, I probably messed up, and I could say, but I don't know. I messed up a good relationship. Good thing that we're friends now today. You know what I mean? But
right,
at that point, if you would have asked me, I'm a grown man. I'm doing this, and at the point, my frontal lobe like, wasn't developed. You know what I'm saying? And I
right,
made bad decisions. And I look back, I made a lot of bad decisions. I probably broken a lot of hearts. And I'm gonna say this loud. I want to delete that podcast. I apologize to all of you. All of us. You heard it here first. I apologize to all of you, and there was a lot of yous. But to be honest with you, we as adults, we need to stop chasing the superficial things and just make better decisions, man. When you get a kid involved, I had a kid at a young age, and me and the mother, we worked things out. We never had no problems. Shout out to my kid's mother. You know what I mean? We never had any problems. I never had a dad in my life, so my first thing was to make sure that my son had what I didn't have. You feel me? So
right,
now, I look back at it, and the question would be, why did my relationships when I was younger work out a little bit better than the ones as adults? Maybe because we pack on too much baggage and we bring them to the next relationships. And that's what messes up a lot of current relationships and it makes them unsuccessful because we're judging this person for what that person did. And this person is blaming this person for what that person did. So when you walk in the door, you're already being judged for what somebody else did, the damage that they caused. And you're dealing with a bag lady, like Erica Badu says,
Right, right,
let it go. You know what I'm saying? What's in that bag? You gotta let that bag go. You gotta start with a new hefty cinch sack for your new relationship.
right, right. So even with the baggage that comes, right? There's a commitment that's made. And the keys to those, like I say, to success to me, I can only speak from my point of view, right, P? And what has caused me to be successful um, over the years, man, of 29, 28, 29. I forget sometimes, but somewhere around there. But in those years of saying consistency, and was it all peaches and cream in 29? No, it wasn't. But you go through those ups and downs that you go through in the process, right? Through every relationship, you're gonna have ups and downs, man. And it's about how strong, how much you're willing to continue on a fight and stand in the midst of it. You get frustrated at times. You're gonna have that. You're gonna have the bad days, the good, the bad, and ugly, like they used to say in the Western. But you have those days, and it's the shaping of the character of both individuals, right? Because you're learning as you go. There's no book that's going to tell you, hey man, this is the exact way you got to be to have a perfect and that
Relationship.
to each person is different. He is different because you may see things different from what they're telling you to agree with, and that's not you. Then you're not being you. So you have to find someone that loves you for you, not you for what you got, you for what you had, you for you. Like you gonna meet me, you spend time with me. So many people jump into relationships so quick and they don't get to learn the person. And then you realize after all of the makeup is taken off and all of the wigs and the lashes and the real them come out,
And
you like,
bars.
and the dude take off his toupee, like
Rocco.
yeah, Rocco. He'll take off his toupee and take out his grill, his partials, and you know what I mean? And you like Glorilla, what I didn't it's crazy. Like Glow, she done went through sets of veneers, right? To finally get the right ones. But once they take off all of these things, it's like, oh shit, who is this? You ain't know that's who that was. That wasn't no mistake. Like, yeah, see, we so quick to use the scapegoat of a word. I made a mistake. Did you really make a mistake? Right? Did you constantly? Sometimes we can say, I tripped over the curb. Oh, you made a mistake and tripped over the curb. I wasn't paying attention. I was distracted by something that caused me to trip over that curb, right? Now, sometimes we trip over a step while we walking because we misjudge at the time where that concrete was and we didn't raise our feet up lazily and something threw us off and we misstepped, right? So was it a mistake or was it a lack of paying attention or a lack of communication through my mind and the judgment that I felt between the concrete and my feet? I don't know, right? But in a relationship, you learn each other's the good, their habits, and what you don't like. Some like it been time my wife then said, "Can you put the toilet seat back down?" Like, okay, I,
Wait,
I made a mistake. I really, you know what I mean? I was rushing, getting out the bathroom, and I left the seat up, and I
oh, pause right there, dude. Now, can you answer this question for me? Where is it written that the man has to put the toilet seat down? Where is it written? You know what I mean? If you are the person that's supposed to sit, Don't you supposed to make sure that toilet seat down? I had this discussion with a couple of ladies, and she was like, "Man, the men don't leave the toilet seat down." I said, "Where is it written that we are supposed to leave it down or up? There's no written rule. Y'all just made it a rule, and y'all making us put this dang toilet seat up or down, like it's our responsibility." Now, there's two parts to that toilet seat.
Right.
There's the cover, and there's the other part, right?
Right.
When I go in the bathroom, I don't never see the cover down. Why I
Right.
gotta have that one seat now? Like, why we not putting the whole? Now we, how about we just share the responsibility and shut both of them? That
Right.
way, whoever comes in there, just like a cabinet, you open that thing up, and then do what you gotta do. Then you close it.
Yeah. Amen. I had a friend of mine, man. And well, no, you know what? I had a friend of mine, I'm gonna just say this briefly. He used to use the toilet, but he didn't even sit on the seat part. He sat on the actual front, the porcelain part. You know what I mean? And that,
Like,
you know,
what?
yeah, he just because he
He
had been
sat on the lower ring.
yeah, because he had them been through the system and he just didn't care. Like he was like, man, listen, man, I am who I am. This how I grew up sitting on the iron. I'm still sitting on it. And that was just his mindset, man. All right, Peter, my dog, Greg. Man, speaking of that, man, I have a shirt on. I want to put this on. And it's a shirt I've been having for many years, P. As you can see, it's a little etchy, but it's one of my favorite shirts, man. And it says, "The sound of my clippers get me crunk." When we was in barber school, leaving out of barber school, we had became close to a guy that was a great teacher, man, of the game and a great barber, man. Shout out to Phil, man.
Shout out to Mr. Phillips.
Yeah, Mr. Phillip, man, was our guy, man, and, him and Sack, Miss Miss Moore, you know what I mean? But there was some of our idols, man, but shout out to him, man, passed away. Uh Great dude, man, great mentor, man. So I always wear this shirt, man. And times, man, and people like, you still like Pete saw this shirt today and was like, man, you still got that shirt? I said, yeah, man. And I still wear it, man, because I'm loyal to the soil, man. That's what the way I was raised coming up in New Orleans, man. Like you had to be loyal, man. You survived by being loyal. Some people didn't survive by being too loyal with trust, right? Trust is something you hand out, but inside of a relationship, see, we speak of relationships, P, and I'm talking about all relationships. It's not just intimate relationship. When you say intimacy, we have intimacy with our higher power. We have intimacy with our significant others. We have intimacy with so much other things in life that keys into relationships, right? And the principle of those things don't change. The principle of those things don't change, Pete. That's the crazy part. If you keep the principles the same, then you could be successful in a relationship, right? Because you know at the end of the day, a relationship of value, it's something you believe in to the point that I'm willing to protect this at all costs, right? I believe in it. I'm willing to die behind what I believe in. I believe in protecting, right? So my family, I believe in this relationship that much that I won't allow the enemy to come in and destroy that, right? And there'd be times that when you have to know to delete some things that will cause that friction, right? A lot of times we go into relationships and it's just for sex, right? So we wasn't in love, we was in lust, right?
Yeah.
And we saw her, "Ooh, she looked good. Damn, Bob, boom, 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 this and that." I could see myself. That's what you said when you saw her. I could see myself. Well, that could be my girl. Nah, you didn't know mentally that that can't be your girl. You ain't even found out. You just saw her outside. Wait till you see her inside.
And she could be everybody's girl.
Yeah, you
She
know
could
what
be
I mean?
yours for the moment.
Right. For the moment, because how
For
you
real.
get it is how you gonna lose it, right? Something
Fall
that's
right back to that. Yeah.
yeah. So it's one of them things, Pete, man. And but like I said, keys to me in a relationship is the things I spoke about earlier. Uh and the communication has to be there, and staying on the same page. As much as you may disagree with your partner or whoever that significant other is, that you have to show alliance to the outside world at all times. You can't give information to social media, go on there blabbing your personal feelings, and you didn't put that shit out there to the world on social media, and then you all to say I was mad for the moment. I was caught up in the moment,
and you can't take
and
it back.
I made a mistake. Was that a mistake when you posted that? No, no,
That was
no, it was
anger.
not.
That was anger.
That was anger. That was you being foolish and irradical and stupid, and just went posted some stuff that now people didn't read. I saw someone do that recently, and I was like, man, don't put your business on social media like that. No matter what it is, like you don't know how that gonna turn out. You could say at the time you're fully, this is how I feel, and
Felt for that moment, yeah.
yeah, that was the moment. It was the
And
feeling. It's gonna
you
pass.
you remembering when people were saying like, don't get other people involved because
Right?
you mad for that moment, but your family can be mad. You might go get your brothers to go beat this dude up or approach this
Yeah,
dude, and then your brothers go smash on a dude, beat him up, or he might get beat up, and then y'all back together 3 more days later. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now, my mom, she used to always talk about red flags. I didn't really pay attention to that until I was
Uh-oh.
about right. So
Uh-oh.
when you said you can walk and miss that step because you
Right.
might not been paying attention, because
Right.
that be an example of like a red flag. You know that when you get with this chick, she doesn't like the way the thermostat has changed. You like it cool, she like it warm. That could be a red flag. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it's something we don't pay attention to until later on.
I
Now,
don't mean to laugh. Shout out Rhonda. I hear you, Rhonda, out there. Rhonda was there. That's why they made a top for the toilet to put the top down when you use the toilet. That's for anyone that uses it. You're absolutely right.
so so Rhoda, you try to say that
Rhoda,
it,
I
it's
meant to say Rhoda, my bad.
it's for everyone. It's not
Delete
just for
that.
the men, right? It's I think she's trying to say it looks like when you use it for anyone that uses it.
Yeah,
Okay, so put the top down. So going forward, put
going forward. Put the top down.
the top down. Then you don't have to worry about it being in position when you get there. I
You
like that.
feel,
Shout
you
out to
feel.
Rhoda.
Shout out to Rhoda. My bad. I pronounced it wrong early. Know what I'm gonna tell myself? Delete that. You
Delete
know what I
that.
mean? We gonna delete that. But yeah, man. So but real talk, man. I think that's how you continue to be successful in a relationship, man. Those lines of communication, you got to keep it spontaneous. You got to keep a spark there. Always do something. Don't just be well, work, and you put work before your family, and you put you work before your significant other, and you talking about I'm tired because I work, I gotta provide for us, and we make the excuse to say because I'm
Mhm.
doing it for us, but no, that you doing it for you because you ain't even understand what us want. Like,
You do it for you.
right? You think that that's what I want too. No, I don't want that too. Like if my wife would tell me I gotta be at work 20 hours out the day. And 4 hours for me. No, the other 2 hours I got to sleep and an hour to get up to cook, and I got to get back on it. Okay,
One
that
hour for do.
who happy about that? I'm a you.
Yeah.
I got 20. So you telling me I got 20 hours of free time to myself every day? Imma eventually fill that void with something else, right? And you gave me the time. And it's vice versa. It's the same
Yeah.
thing for the man that chooses to that's why I said that, because that's more ideally for the man to be out there and saying I'm working and I'm busting my ass for the family. But nah, man, you better figure out how to spend more time. You better share that time. It should predominantly go to your family.
Mhm.
But you saying that you chose a job or your profession, and you saying that this was my choice. This is the field I went into because this what was available for me, right? But now, did you utilize that job to get another job? Did you utilize the funds to say, let me educate myself to position myself better, pay for to learn this trade or go into this field? Like people try to figure out like what I don't do because I
Mhm.
do so many different things to make money, right? All legal things, but it's I understand that I have
Practical.
many talents.
Yeah.
So I utilize those talents, but I base it around my home. So I'm not taking so much time away from the household. You know what I mean? And sharing that time, right? Coaching takes up a lot of time, but I think communication, uh, commitment, consistency inside that commitment, uh, it helps your relationship become successful. You may mess up, slack up, and get behind on some stuff, but what you say, Rhoda, as always, the red flags. You overlook them. Yeah, a lot of people do. They do overlook the red flags because they're thinking with a different heart. They're thinking so much with their heart, not with their mind, that they ignore the red.
Ignore it, right? And you said some very important things, dude. I heard you say it maybe two or three of our episodes. You mentioned being equally yoked.
Yeah,
I've got that from the spiritual realm. So whatever you believe in, whoever God you worship, you know, though I believe that those two people have to that would help it. Being
right,
equally yoked,
right,
meaning you guys have the same things in mind, come
right,
from the same culture, you have the same belief system, you have the same things, because that really discontinued the relationship that I was in, and I was just simply trying to explain that to my partner, but that partner went to her family.
right,
Now it's me against the family. So
right,
you brought a lot of outside people
right.
in.
Yeah,
Now, instead of me having a conversation with you, I'm at war. I feel now, and of course, you put anybody against their back against the wall, they're gonna get defensive.
right,
So now I feel like I'm at a battle with the entire family,
right.
trying to get this one person to understand.
But
You know
you
what
know
I
why that happened, P? You know why that happens to that and it gets to the outside to the family? Because people forget the key is you have to surround yourself with like-minded people. If you want your marriage to be successful, you want your relationship to be successful, then you need to be around others that's making sure their relationship is successful. You can't have, I'm gonna use both aspects, Michael, Johnny, Jolie, Corey, and Luca, all are friends. Johnny is the only one that's not have a significant other that he's serious about and being with. The other four does. So whenever they get together with Johnny, Johnny got time to party and he has no limit. So he's gonna, if you follow Johnny, then it's gonna create friction inside your household because you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing because you have someone that you live with, a significant other that's up waiting on you. You know what I mean? So it's coming to that point to where if that's not designed that way, then you're gonna have a lot of problems. You know
correct.
what I mean? You don't put yourself around like-minded people. Man, if you married, then you should be up with a whole bunch of other married people that's that's staying committed inside their marriage that has that foundational built, man. So with that being said, man, we the other show we went over, so we're gonna leave y'all with a word of the day, man. And kind of sum it up for the day, baby. But we gonna always leave y'all with something positive, baby, before we get up out of here, man. And again, keys to success, man. Success of a relationship. Keys to that is here's my positive word for today, man. Make sure you stay in line and in tune with what got you there in the beginning. What you found and what you love in the beginning, always fall in love with that same thing. Don't raise the bar, become the bar. That being said, that's your boy, dude, man. Just give me some words, man. P, you got something to lead the people with.
Yeah, man. Remember that love is about giving more than receiving, no matter what aspect it is. Like you said, it's not just in being in a relationship with someone. It can be your friendships. It can be your students, whatever it is. Show more love than you're looking to receive. You know what I mean? It'll automatically come to you. You know what I mean? And if you respect people, man, they'll respect you. And just always remember, keep God first. So
Keep Yes, sir. Hey, man, let's get a shout out to Sugar Slim, man. Sugar Slim, take us out of here, baby. Slim, huh?
Man, Sugar Slim Beats on Instagram. If you need your promo, if you need your commercials, whatever it is, if you're looking at hip hop artists, R&B artists, whatever the case may be, holla at my boy Sugar Slim, man. Sugar Slim Beats on Instagram. Blue check Slim.
We'll see you next week. We'll see you next week. We'll see you next episode next week. We coming every day live, baby. Coming every day live, baby.